Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
My name is Debbie Kimbrell. I am the administrative assistant here at Anderson Chapel. I also work as part of the media ministry. It was great working with Lighthouse. Everyone was very professional, came in to do video recording and streaming for a conference that we hosted here on time. They did what they needed to do, was seamless and transparent. It was great. The feedback, everyone was impressed. So it went out, it was a conference level, so a state level event, and everyone was impressed with the product and the result. We got the DVDs too, which people purchased, and they were impressed with those. It was great overall.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, founder and CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
My name is Tashay Sayes. I'm a music major at MCC, and I'm so happy to be here. It's crazy how I got here.
My name is Emily Adams. I'm the marketing director for the Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. We are here at our 3rd annual MAPS conference at the Waco Convention Center in beautiful Waco, Texas. I think the event has exceeded all of our expectations. We had an amazing turnout and great sessions and nothing but positive feedback. So this is our first conference in a convention center, and I'm used to working with hotels where there's like one person to talk to for everything. And so at the last minute, we realized we needed audio and video services. And so I contacted Lighthouse Streaming and Audio, and they were very quick to respond. They were able to, even though it was the last minute, they were able to fit us into their schedule, and they provided us with technicians and equipment to record our sessions, and we'll be able to provide the people who are speaking at those sessions with great video of themselves. I would highly recommend them. I highly recommend Lighthouse Streaming and Audio. I had nothing but a pleasant experience, and if we come back to Waco again, which we hope to do, I know I'll be in touch with them.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching
Is that changing any of their plans? Still some really good receivers left in the free agent market as well. And we'll talk about a little bit of NFL draft as we're a little bit less than a month away from the NFL draft. Teams are starting to position themselves. We'll wait to see if anybody's going to make any trades. So far, everybody still got their first-round pick. No trades made, so we'll talk about that, and we'll talk a little bit of NBA here today. I'll give you guys some of my picks that I like for tonight's games as well. So we got plenty to talk about today on Centex Primetime. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us. We just wrapped up a baseball game here on Centex Sports Network. MCC men's baseball team was able to come out with a victory over Tyler Junior College, 12-6. We just wrapped that game up, and we're going to get the show started here today. Joining me in here today for the conversation was with us last week as well, PJ Gaither joining in. PJ, what's going on? Work on getting his audio. We'll get PJ's audio back in here in just a second. But like I said, folks, plenty to talk about here today on Centex Primetime as we've got March Madness in full effect going on right now, going on in the women's bracket as well. And first game I wanted to talk about, a game that all of us here in Central Texas watch, at least majority of us, and that is Duke versus Baylor. Baylor was able to make it to the second round after coming out with a very, very close victory over Mississippi State team. Mississippi State, the guard they have, that dude can hoop. I'm not sure if y'all got a chance to watch them play or not, but he is nice. It reminds me, obviously, of another short guard out of Mississippi, and thinking back to Monte Ellis. They called the Mississippi Bullet, whatever they used to call him back when he was in high school. But, man, this dude kind of reminded me of that. Baylor was able to come out with the victory in that game. In their second game, they honestly just ran into a juggernaut. They ran into a team that was playing a lot better than them at the time. And they ran into, I think, after watching this first couple of rounds, possibly the best team in the tournament left, and that's Duke. We knew what Duke was all season long. I mean, they've got the top overall seed for a reason. We knew what this team was, but adding Cooper Flagg back into the mix really just takes this team to another level, and it's going to be hard for any team to beat them moving forward. Baylor fell short in this game, 66-80, I believe, as they fell short. Still a really good season for Scott Drew as they brought really their season back. They kind of fell short of expectations somewhat throughout the season, but Baylor was still able to get into the tournament. 89-66 was the final score on that one, as you guys can see over on the screen. This Duke team is nice. They've got bigs. They can play inside and out throughout the game. Baylor was led by some of their leading scorers. VJ Edgecombe was able to come out with 16 points in this game, but it wasn't enough to be able to take out the Duke Blue Devils in this game. Cooper Flagg, another sensational game for him, and he didn't have to do much. 18 points, 9 boards, 6 assists, and a block. Now, I'm hearing people say that his comp is Kawhi Leonard in the league. And at first I was like, man, okay, y'all are tripping. Y'all taking it too far. You know, Cooper Flagg is nice, but Kawhi Leonard is Kawhi Leonard. But the more and more I watch Cooper Flagg, I'm starting to like this comp. I think that this is actually a really good comp for him because of what he brings on the defensive side of the ball. And also what he's able to bring on the offensive side of the ball as well. So Cooper Flagg and the Duke Blue Devils move on to the next round after taking out the Baylor Bears. Baylor, I'm rooting for you guys always, but I did get this one right in my bracket as well. I just wanted to point that out. I definitely got that right in my bracket. Duke moving on to the next round. Not many upsets throughout this first couple of rounds, unlike what we've usually seen throughout March Madness during the tournament. Haven't got a lot of Cinderella stories, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as we get throughout the show. We'll talk some more about them. But so far, a lot of the Blue Bloods moving on. Florida moving on to the next round. Duke moving on to the next round. Auburn, another number 1 seed. Now, we talked about this a little bit last week on the show. Auburn is a team that was a number 1 seed, and some people didn't think this team could make it all the way throughout. Now, we've only got to the Sweet 16, so it's not like they've done a lot. But just still making it to the Sweet 16, and we've still got all the number one seeds, is some years that we don't get to see that. So them making it all the way to the Sweet 16 is an accomplishment for them. Houston is still in this. Houston battled in a super tough game against Gonzaga. Kentucky and Tennessee will be matching up in the Sweet 16. Tennessee, another one of those blue blood teams. Kentucky, another one of those blue blood teams. So we've got a lot of teams so far that have made it to the Sweet 16 round that are some of the top teams in the nation, which isn't surprising. Just usually we'll see a 15 seed in here, a 14 seed somewhere. I think the lowest seed that has made it so far has actually been Arkansas. So Arkansas coming in as a 10th seed is the lowest seed to make it this far. Usually, like I said, we'll see a 14, a 13, and especially some 12s make it to this round. We saw a couple of 12s make it to the second round. Teams like McNeese State, Purdue was too much for those guys. We saw a really, really good game with the 12 seed that made it to the second round with Colorado State. That Colorado State and Maryland game came all the way down to the last second, and that's the game that I'll go to next in this one. Colorado State versus Maryland. We saw an end in a walk-off buzzer beater. Now, it was a travel. This was most definitely a travel on the game-winning shot that he made. But nonetheless, he made the shot. They didn't take the shot away from him because of the travel, and I'm glad they didn't because it gave us some more storylines, and that was Derek Queen that hit that, their All-American freshman that came into the game and was able to make that shot for them on the last second. As you saw there, they tied it, or Colorado State took the lead with, 6 seconds left to go in the game. You thought it was pretty much over. Maryland advances the ball. They call a timeout. They run a play. The Derek Queen kid says, hey, I want the ball. They give him the ball, and he delivers. Going off glass to win off a one-legged jumper is tough, regardless if he traveled or if he didn't travel in that on the shot. Still made a really, really tough bucket for the Maryland Terrapins to move on, which I'm glad because I had Maryland going to the Sweet 16, and my bracket didn't need to take any more hits than it's already taken so far. I don't have a lot of losses on my bracket, but the ones I do have, I'm like, man, I really could have used those, especially in the group that I'm in right now. But Maryland saved the day. Derek Queen saved the day with that shot, getting over Colorado State. But that Colorado State team was really kind of the last I don't want to say last chance, but really the last we had at one of these teams going, being a Cinderella story and moving on to that next round. Want to see if we can get PJ's audio in here. PJ, can you hear me? Looks like we're still working on bringing his audio in over the phone line, but we'll get his audio in. But this Maryland team moving on after beating a really tough Colorado State team. They go to the second round of the playoffs, move on to the Sweet 16 here in the playoffs. So we'll go Maryland moving on to the Sweet 16. We'll talk some more about a couple of these Sweet 16 teams that we have here. We're going to take a short break, try to work out some of these audio problems. When we come back here on the show, we'll break down some more of the Sweet 16, and we'll break down some more of these brackets and moving forward in this. You're watching Centex Primetime. Stay tuned and stay locked in with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Centex Sports Network.
My name is Debbie Kimbrell. I am the administrative assistant here at Anderson Chapel. I also work as part of the media ministry. It was great working with Lighthouse. Everyone was very professional, came in to do video recording and streaming for a conference that we hosted here on time. They did what they needed to do, was seamless and transparent. It was great. The feedback, everyone was impressed. So it went out, it was a conference level, so a state level event, and everyone was impressed with the product and the result. We got the DVDs too, which people purchased, and they were impressed with those. It was great overall.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, founder and CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
My name is Tashay Sayes. I'm a music major at MCC, and I'm so happy to be here. It's crazy how I got here.
My name is Emily Adams. I'm the marketing director for the Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. We are here at our third annual MAPS conference at the Waco Convention Center in beautiful Waco, Texas. I think the event has exceeded all of our expectations. We had an amazing turnout and great sessions and nothing but positive feedback. So this is our first conference in a convention center, and I'm used to working with hotels where there's like one person to talk to for everything. And so at the last minute, we realized we needed audio and video services. And so I contacted Lighthouse Streaming and Audio, and they were very quick to respond. They were able to, even though it was the last minute, they were able to fit us into their schedule, and they provided us with technicians and equipment to record our sessions, and we'll be able to provide the people who are speaking at those sessions with great video of themselves. I would highly recommend them. I highly recommend Lighthouse Streaming and Audio. I had nothing but a pleasant experience, and if we come back to Waco again, which we hope to do, I know I'll be in touch with them.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex.
Appreciate you calling in with us here today. We just got done talking about some of these games here. We talked about Duke taking out a Baylor team I know we were both rooting for in this tournament, but Duke looks like the top seed in the entire tournament for a reason. They went out there and they handled business. And then we talked about the buzzer beater shot that Maryland was able to move on to the next round with off a buzzer beater. The freshman Derek Queen hit the buzzer beater. The announcer after the game asked him, where does he get this confidence from? And he said he's from Baltimore. So, I don't know where that comes from, but that was his response to why he was so confident at going out there and making the shot. But first, talk a little bit about Baylor losing to this Duke team. Now, like I said, I picked Duke to win this game, but Duke really came out there and smacked them, honestly, man. It wasn't really close, especially in that second half. This Duke team looks really good, and Cooper Flagg looks really good playing for them so far.
Yeah, Duke pretty much did what we all expected them to do. As a Baylor fan, we tried to have some type of hope and, hope that we went out there and possibly played our best game of the season, because that's what it would have had took, to beat them, and a little extra, because like you said, right now Duke is a juggernaut. With Cooper Flagg back in play, man, they look very tough. They're going to give any team that play up against them probably just the best game.
Yeah. Like
any team that plays against them, you're going to have to play your best game. You're going to have to try to beat them probably at everything. You're going to have to try to do everything to beat that team, man. They're a juggernaut right now. But, yeah, as far as with Baylor, I am still disappointed. It was a great season, but I'm still disappointed just because we understand the expectations with the team and this program. Just 4 years in a row now with a second round exit. I really feel like they were better than that. We're a way better program than that. People expect better from us. Whatever they were doing, I'm not saying I'm done with Scott Drew. I think that he's still that guy to me. So I wouldn't go that far. But we do need to overall just look at when it comes to recruiting. We have to start switching up things when it comes to recruiting, because we're doing something that is giving us the same outcome for the last 4 years. So something's not working. I've seen some people saying that they feel like that we need to get a true big. We need to start recruiting. Like, we're having a problem recruiting true bigs.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is right now, but yeah, I can agree with that for sure. But I feel like we need to go back to how
killing us right now with our bigs.
Yeah, it's killing us, man.
The big we got is good. Omir is a good dude. He averaging 16 and 11. So the dude can play. The problem is he's 6'7" though. So when we play a team like Duke, who's playing Cooper Flag at the 3 and the 4, and he's 6'8", 6'10".
Come on now. He's
Like
6'8",
like
6'10".
that we already
Yeah,
we already getting out of it just with that alone.
yeah, just with that alone. So I feel like we need to go back to how it was, the championship season, and even the season before that in 2020, before the pandemic shut the season down. If you go back and look at how that team was built, we're not built like that no more. We haven't been built like that since. So I feel like that we need to get back to that, get back to our roots. Stop trying to get these superstar guys. You know what I mean? These guys, they only gonna come in and be one and dones. That's all they're doing. They're just gonna be one and done.
That's really what it is. Because when you go back to, you just brought up the championship season, we had a Davion Mitchell who was in the program for a couple of years. We had a Jared Butler who had been in the program for a few years. We got transfer guys to come in from different places and fill in some spots. And since then, we've got the huge, superstar one and done guys, the Keontae George, which he turned out to be a good player. He's in the league and he's playing good. That's cool. But we lost in the second round. Next year, we get Jacoby Walter, good player, dude that got us to the second round. He's playing good right now on the Raptors. That's cool, but we didn't get to build anything. Then this year, VJ Edgecombe, who was a top 10 recruit in the nation, and that's cool, super athletic, a lot of potential, but that's the problem with freshmen. That potential is only get you so far, because VJ Edgecombe probably played his last game for Baylor, but in some of those games, I mean, he had 16 points in this game. A lot of these games, he left a lot on the table, in my opinion. Like,
That's a lot on the table.
Man, I'm expecting you to come in and get 20, 25. We've seen it a couple times, but in a lot of these games, we need him to step up against Houston, against Arizona. He's going out there and he's getting 12 points here, he's getting 15 points there. And if that's what our whole team is going to be built around, then, I mean, if he don't show up, then we lose. It's just that simple. And then we got to play a juggernaut like Duke. We don't have a chance. I mean, it was 30-47 at halftime. Like, I mean, the game was away from us at halftime, and then they still came out and outscored us by 8 points in the second half too. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I get that it's Duke, but we're Baylor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're Baylor, so it's like that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, bro. Like, that's all I'm saying. I understand, man. It takes time, but it's unacceptable, bro. We shouldn't really be getting whooped, really, by anybody. Just the type of program that we are, we shouldn't be getting whooped against anybody. It's not like we're a second-tier program. We're a program that a lot of guys coming out of high school, they want to come to Baylor. They want to play for Baylor, And so we've earned that. We've earned that rep. You know what I mean? We've earned that rep. So yeah, I'm disappointed, but I expected it, man. It wasn't. I didn't expect for us to really go in there and just to end up playing our best game. I was hoping that could be a possibility, but I didn't expect for it to happen. So when I seen that, what happened, I was just like, it's expected. It's Duke right now, and Duke, I would say they're the favorite right now in college basketball for sure.
Yeah, I picked in my bracket, my main bracket, I picked Florida to win. But I mean, after seeing just the first two rounds of the tournament, I don't know who's gonna beat Duke. I mean, of course, they got a tough game coming up next in the Sweet 16. That's only going to get tougher from there. But I don't see who's going to beat this Duke team moving forward. They got Arizona. Arizona's another tough team coming out of the Big 12. Caleb Love and them boys, they can definitely play. But, man, Duke seems like they're on another level right now. I like Florida. I still like Florida. And I still think Florida can get all the way. But after seeing Florida struggle to the way that they struggled against UConn, and albeit UConn is the two-time defending champs. But we know UConn is coming off a down year this year, and the way that they struggled and really almost lost that game, it came down to the very last seconds of the game for Florida to win. And then you look at Duke just dominate Baylor. If Duke dominates Arizona in this next game on Thursday, man, I got to reevaluate how I pick my bracket, which I'm already doing that now, just based off of the way the Duke is playing. And then they got the best player in the tournament, in Cooper Flag. So that automatically gives you an up on the rest of these guys as well. But for Baylor, I'm like you, man. We got to find some type of identity, and maybe we got to go back to getting some of these transfer guys and bringing in some more experienced guys, because the freshman is cool, but it's only going to get us so far. That's why I like teams like the University of Houston, who, matter of fact, got the last guy from that Baylor championship team that's still playing in college in LJ Cryer. Now, I was kind of looking like, okay, LJ, how old are you, bro? Because Baylor won that. I don't know. I gotta look it up because when I seen him, because he just dropped in the second round when they played when they played Gonzaga, which ended up being a really good game, he dropped 30. And I'm like, man, LJ Cryer is balling. And I had to think about,
Bro,
how old is
he's 20.
LJ Cryer? He came off the bench and played a big role for that Baylor team when we won the championship.
He gotta be 20. He gotta be 24.
Let's see, it's not
He
putting
gotta
his
be.
age here on ESPN, but I'm like, man, bro, that was
He 20. He 24.
I mean, he gotta be
What's that?
something. He's a senior.
He 22. He 22 or 24.
Oh, minimum, he's 22, which is a rarity to
22,
see in college basketball. I mean, most dudes is one and dones and
Yeah.
leave after 1 year, so it's a rarity to see that in college basketball just in general. But
You know, if he 22, I'll be cool. But if he 20,
he got to be at
anything
least
past
23 because he played 3 seasons at Baylor, and this is his second season at Houston. So I'm trying to figure out what is going. I mean, I think he got a medical red shirt in there somewhere. Something happened, or maybe he still got the COVID year. He might got the COVID year. His freshman year was when we won the chip, 2020, 2021 season. That was his freshman year.
Yeah.
he dropped the 30 ball. But see, that's why I like teams like Houston. All them dudes is old out there, and that's why a lot of the times they out there bullying people because these is grown men. A lot of y'all playing teenagers. These is grown men y'all playing against. LJ Cryer graduated high school in 2020, and it's 2025.
Yeah.
He's playing college basketball. We can see that. I mean, it's kind of rare to see that in football, but in basketball, man, a lot of these dudes is teenagers. But Baylor, you know, we might got to go back to getting some of these older guys. First off, how we let LJ leave? He won a chip with us. If he wanted to stay 5 years, you could have played 5 years at Baylor.
So I'm about to say I'm confused on how we even let him leave.
And then we let him go to Houston, who we knew was joining the Big 12. Like
Our rival though, that's a rival.
Yeah,
That's a rival.
I didn't like seeing that. I mean, I like seeing it because I still got love for all.
We support H-Town. Yeah, we support Houston though.
Oh no, for
Over
sure.
here we do,
They're
but-
one of my. I mean, if I
that's-
had to pick who's left in the tournament who I want to win, it's definitely Houston. I wanted them to win last year, and they folded
Oh,
in the
definitely.
Elite Eight
They folded.
last year. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that they don't do that again this year. I like their coach. I like what U of H is doing out there, and that was a tough win beating the Gonzaga team. They another one of those teams that just got their championship pedigree and
They
experience,
got the pedigree,
even though they were ranked kind of lower. I want to look over at this Maryland game a little bit. Like I said, they came out with a tough win over the last, I guess, Cinderella story you could say in Colorado State. They're a 12 seed, even though Colorado State is not like that much of a mid-major. They're not like some of these other super small schools that we see. Colorado State is still. They might be in the Power 5 conference if this new Pac-12 finally does form. They could be in the Power 5, but they were the last real low seed that we got to see, and they lost on a buzzer beater shot to Derek Queen. I don't know if you got to see the shot or not, but first off, I mean, one of the biggest travels I've probably seen in recent memory. He took like 10 steps, but I mean, even if they wanted to say one of them was a gather, he took 3 definite steps, long definite steps with no type of drip. He didn't even think about putting the ball on the ground. So I know Colorado State's going to be mad about that and saying that forever. But nonetheless, it was a super tough shot. Derek Queen hit it. He's a freshman. I like that they gave the ball to their best player, even though he's a big man and even though he's a freshman. He's clearly their best player. Like he let everybody know after the game, he's straight out of Baltimore. And it's a rarity that we get to see these top dudes out of that DMV area stay at a school like Maryland. It used to be Georgetown that got a lot of those guys, but Georgetown has really fallen all the way off in basketball. I'm hoping that Georgetown can get back to it because I used to love watching Georgetown basketball, even in the 2000s. I know what they did back in the 80s and the 90s, even when they all the way up to when they had AI. But even in the 2000s when they had a Rudy Gay, or a little bit after that, they had an Otto Porter and guys like that. But to see somebody from that area get to stay in that area, one of those schools like a Maryland, who really gets the short end of the stick in all sports. I don't think Maryland, I mean, especially football, they get the short end of the stick. But to see them keep one of their main guys in Derek Queen, and he rewards them and gets a buzzer beater shot. What do you think about Maryland getting that walk-off victory with the shot?
That's why we love March Madness, man. Moments like this, and I feel like this was one of the first games where we really had a moment that really made you appreciate March Madness this year. For sure, that was the first game that I really got that feeling. Not to take from any of the other games, but I feel like with a lot of the other games, people really was just handling business. A lot of these teams, like you said, a lot of the Blue Buds are still going, still playing right now. So it's not a lot of not a lot of Cinderella teams, really any Cinderella teams left now after Colorado State. And I know that was a major travel.
Man.
I've been I've been on Twitter, man, and the Colorado State people they not happy about that.
Oh yeah, I
They're
bet
not
they
happy
heated.
at all about that. Yeah, they're fuming right now after seeing him travel like that. And like you said, I mean, he did take three steps.
I mean, he's 6'10".
It was crazy.
We see your steps, bro. You can't hide.
Yeah,
You took 3
you
long
can't have
steps.
that. Three long steps. So uh in that situation though, you would never really get that call, man. You're not gonna really get that call. And I know it's hard to say. And I mean, if I was a fan of Colorado State, I'd be mad too.
Oh, I'd be heated.
I'd be I'd be heated too. But in that situation, it's kind of hard. It's I mean, it's a few seconds left in the game. So and at the end of the day, that's a hard shot to make, regardless of if he
Oh,
traveled or
super
not.
tough.
That was a super tough shot, bro. I mean, dude was all in his face.
Yep.
Dude, all in his face. It wasn't like it was an open shot.
And he went
So
off
even with the
glass,
3 steps,
fading out of bounds.
yeah, it went
Like,
off
that's tough.
glass. So yeah, so with the 3 steps, still with or without it, y'all had a chance. You know what I mean, to somehow possibly stop that shot from going in, and unfortunately, they didn't. So Maryland gets the win. But like you said, man, it's huge for a guy from, even though Baltimore, they don't claim the DMV. Y'all DMV, man,
Man,
because
come
it's
on,
DC,
bro.
Maryland.
Let's
It's,
not-
it's DC, Maryland, Virginia. It's DC, Maryland, Virginia.
And they
I know
always
they
try to
don't
leave
like
Virginia
claim.
out. They don't ever want to talk about
Yeah,
the people in Virginia.
it's crazy, bro. Like, come on now. And then you got people from Richmond. They be saying that they're not DMV, but like y'all, it's Richmond, Virginia. Dude, it's to us, y'all the DMV. So, it's huge for a guy from Baltimore to be at Maryland and making a shot like that and making the impact that he's been having on that Maryland team this year. They a team that I'm supporting right now too, man. I like what they got going over there. So that was a huge win for them and just a huge moment, like I said, for college basketball this year in March Madness. And that's the reason why we all love March Madness and just really can't wait every year until this time so that we can see moments like that.
No, seriously. I mean, that was we. I feel like we needed that, like you said. Like they needed somebody to go in there and make a big shot and have something to talk about. And nobody wants to see a team lose on a travel. Like that's why the ref didn't call it out. Nobody wants to see that. We'd have been mad if
Yeah, nah.
especially if he'd have made the shot, but they called a travel. I mean, that'd have crushed him for an 18-year-old kid too. That would have crushed him. Now, did he travel? Of course he did, but that don't matter. And like you said, with the DMV, I don't know why y'all always trying to split that up. To us down here in the South, and some of y'all try to claim the DMV is the South, y'all not. For us down here in the South, y'all the same. Y'all talk the same. Yeah, all y'all do the Q's and the D's. So we don't really separate it that much, bro. No, I know DC got a little bit of a different accent. I remember my first time going to DC when I was in high school, but I couldn't even understand what was going on. They was talking to me, and I had no idea what was being said. I was like, this has got to be a different language right now.
When I first went, man, dudes was calling me Slim.
Yeah, like
I'm like, what?
Where do y'all come up with this madness in Baltimore? Everybody's stupid. I'm like, man, what do you mean, bro? Like, I didn't even say that. I'm like, okay, but I get it. I get it. And so to see a kid from that area, even though I'm from the South, I miss seeing these East Coast schools be good because I just feel like they all got sorry out of nowhere. Like I'm used to seeing Syracuse versus UConn, and Maryland is going to be tough. Georgetown is going to be tough. All these areas in these East Coast schools are going to be tough, especially in basketball. But I mean, like
when we was growing up,
who was the East Coast schools that's dominant outside of UConn in the last few years? And shout out to St. John's. We'll talk about them in a second. But St. John's finally got back to being good. Really, all the New York schools got sorry. I don't know how that happened. None of the New York schools ended up being good anymore. St. John's had to bring it back, and they had to go get a Hall of Fame coach just to bring them back to being relevant. But Syracuse is sorry. Like all the East Coast schools, UConn was the only one holding it down, and then who wants to rep UConn? It's like they in Connecticut, so like it's really no East Coast school. So I'm hoping that Maryland and these other guys can get back to being good. Like I said, the Georgetowns and the old Big East. I seen them talking about the Big East and the ACC, how those schools need to combine with each other, and I agree because the ACC, this is the worst we've seen the ACC. Pretty much all of their teams are out. I mean, we got what, Maryland and Duke are still in there, and that's it. But we're used to seeing the ACC get
Yeah.
7, 8, 9 teams in there, so they've fallen off. And then we're looking at the Big East, who just had UConn left. UConn and St. John's, they both lose in the second round. So y'all might as well combine them, at least for basketball. I understand football, that probably wouldn't make much sense at all. But for basketball, y'all should find some way to combine them. But you can only combine them if you take some of these teams out. Like Cal shouldn't be in the ACC, bro. Like, that doesn't make sense. Stanford shouldn't be in the
I have
ACC.
no reason.
These dudes are taking 5-hour
Stanford.
flights to play a Wednesday night game.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Of course they're going to lose. Of course Stanford didn't do good in basketball, or Cal didn't do good in basketball. How could they? Every game they got to play,
They
they got to fly 4 or 5 hours.
I don't even know what they're doing good in.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe they'll do
They
something in
suck at.
baseball.
They terrible
or
at
something.
foot.
Yeah, football.
Terrible
no.
at football.
No, football. No, that's a dub. They don't even they don't even hardly count in football. I mean, I guess Cal kind of tried to reinvigorate their program this year, and they had Jaden Audit running back and stuff. And I forget the dude that just transferred there to play QB. That was like a top quarterback. But I guess they're trying to bring it back in football. But as long as they're in the ACC, I feel like they're gonna keep losing. Every weekend, you got to take a 4-hour flight, bro, to the other side of the United States. Cal is so far away from Clemson. It's so far away from North Carolina, Florida State. Like, those are teams they got to play every single
Setting
week.
them up for failure.
Yeah, they setting them up for failure. They're setting them up for them to go out there and lose those games. But shout out to Maryland, man, for going out there and getting that win. Still holding on for the ACC and somebody going out there and winning. Want to talk about one of the other games. The SEC favorite right now in the Florida Gators took on the reigning defending champs in what was a super competitive game. It was tied at halftime. This game literally came all the way down to the last second. Tied at halftime. Florida comes out with the win, 77-75 over UConn. UConn and Coach Bobby Hurley. Bobby Hurley, a guy that we know is very animated, comes from the Hurley family, basketball royalty. A super East Coast guy. If you hear him talk or if you hear him do anything, he just gives you that old Big East type of feel as a coach. Now, when they lost, he goes out in the tunnel and starts cussing everybody out. He looks to Baylor, who's playing next, and said, I hope the refs don't F you guys like they F'd us, which was kind of funny that Bobby Hurley said that. I guess he forgot everybody got a camera phone now, bro, and they're going to record you saying stuff. And he goes out there and says that right after. He was super mad about the game. But all in all, I thought it was a really good game, and I really thought this UConn team overachieved, even though they won back-to-back national titles. But this team isn't that team, and we all know that this team isn't that team. They didn't do good just in the Big East alone. That's why they were the 8th seed, even though they come off 2 back-to-back losses. And Dan Hurley goes out there, has some choice words to say, but that's Dan Hurley. I don't get why everybody was so surprised that, I thought it was kind of funny that he said that, or that he was even cussing the refs out of all this stuff. This is Dan Hurley. This is the same dude who cussed out a ref after getting a tech and told him I'm the best effing coach in college basketball. Like, this is who Dan Hurley is. Like, what are we shocked about him saying this stuff? This is how he feels. This is how he coaches his team. He's a super passionate guy. And the game came down all the way to the end. Florida is the favorites in a lot of people's brackets, including mine. And the game came all the way down to the very end of it. I think he was just being a sore loser in the moment, which he's always a sore loser, but who cares? He wins most of the time, so who cares that he's a sore loser? We didn't say nothing when Coach Bob Knight was throwing chairs and he was hitting people in the head. Like, we can't try to criticize this dude now and say, oh man, what is he doing? Why is he saying that kind of stuff? He's a winner and he wants to win. He's used to winning. His entire family is used to winning. His dad's one of the greatest high school basketball coaches of all time. His brother Bobby Hurley's a Duke legend. He's a coaching legend in his own right. He just won back-to-back national champs. Of course he's mad that they're going home in the second round. But all in all, they gave us what was one of the best games of the tournament, and seeing 2 of these top teams going at it. What do you think about this Florida and UConn game, and Florida coming out with a win over UConn?
Honestly, man, I felt like that was one of the best games over the weekend, bro. It was that game. That was a really good game. Both those teams were I'm going to say both those teams were really equal.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like Florida down the stretch made more plays to win the game. but they're equal, man. If they were to have a rematch and play a few times, I mean, it can go either way every time. They're very, very, very equal to me in the matchup.
Yeah.
This Florida team, though, man, they're reminding me a lot of the teams back in '05, the '05, '06, '06, '07 years that they
Yeah.
went back to back
Corey Brewer,
with
Joakim
Coach
Noah,
Donovan.
Al Horford.
Yeah, yeah, they're looking pretty stacked right now. If I was gonna say a team that could possibly give Duke a run for their money, or not necessarily run for their money, but give them a really good matchup, and I feel like it'll be Florida right now.
Oh yeah, I think
And I
that's
mean,
going to be a
shout
premier
out,
matchup with them two. Go ahead.
yeah, and I mean, shout out to UConn, man, because I mean it's UConn, bro. They've been back to back. They was trying to get that back to back to back, but that's very hard to do. It's very hard to do, and we haven't seen no one do it in a very long time.
Nah, probably
And
since
so,
Kareem and them back at UCLA
yeah,
and what
since
the
Kareem now,
'70s.
yeah, seven in a row, that's never going to happen
Nah,
ever again.
not even close. No one's ever going to
Not
get
even
even close
close.
to that.
Yeah, and I don't really think I don't think we'll see anyone win a three-peat. It's just too hard, and with the way NIL and everything is now,
Yeah,
um, teams can get good in just one off season. If they just have one good recruiting offseason, go snag some guys from a different school, get some freshmen to come in that can play a key role, they can get good, in an instant. So I don't really think that'll happen. But shout out to UConn, like I say, man, with what they've been doing in the last few years and what they've been doing. I mean, just in the 2000s, UConn they're the mecca of college basketball for sure. But Florida right now, man, like I say, they reminded me a lot of them back to back years, man, and they're a team that they control their own destiny at this point.
no, for sure. I definitely believe that they control their own destiny moving forward. This is a super tough team. I mean, they're a one seed, so we don't have to overhype the Florida team. We know they're good, and everybody knows they're good. Uh, I picked them to win the whole thing. I think they have depth on their team, which they showed in this win versus UConn, and you need those games like this. And people were like, "Oh man, Florida, they're not going to be able to win it all. They almost just lost in the second round." I'm like, "Do y'all just not watch college basketball? What team have we seen that just breezes all the way through and wins the whole thing? I can't really think of any that never gets tested like that." I was just watching this morning on Get Up on ESPN, and Jay Williams and Carlos Boozer were on there, and they were talking about when they won their championship in '01, and they were down 20 points to Maryland in the Final Four. Like, you're gonna see teams get challenged and almost lose. That's just part of it. And to see Florida be able to bounce back from that, because UConn was giving them, especially in that second half, UConn gave them everything that they could handle, man, in that second half. And Florida was able to withstand the punches, and they'll be moving on to the next round. UConn, I think they're going to be right back in it. I think they'll be right back in it. Yes, they didn't win this time, but they just won back-to-back. It's hard enough to win back-to-back, and then to try to go out there and get a three-peat, like you said, PJ, I think it's pretty much impossible at this point. With the way NIL is, people are going to take your players. They're not going to let you three-peat. Even if you have guys that want to stay, somebody's going to come in and offer one of your guys a whole bunch of money. I've seen Dan Hurley, who always has no filter. He just said, like, last month, like, half our guys are already in the transfer portal. They're already talking to teams. They're playing right now, but they're already talking about teams where they're going to go next. That's just this new era of college basketball that we're in. The conversation came up about this NIL and how it's affecting college basketball. And is that the reason why we're seeing no Cinderella teams in it? Like I said, the lowest seed is Arkansas, who's a 10 seed, and they don't count. Because if you got John Calipari as your coach, you don't count as a Cinderella team. I don't care what school you're playing at. If Calipari is your coach, you don't get to count as like an underdog type of team. They just didn't have that great of a year. That's why they're the 10 seed. But we don't see any of these mid-major programs. There's no Florida Gulf Coast from back in the day. There's no VCUs. There's no Butlers that made it all the way to the championship. Is that because of NIL? Why we're not going to see any of these lower mid-major schools be able to make it? Because this is the first time I can remember even seeing it like that, where we don't have anybody. Maybe it's not a lot in some years, but we don't have nobody that's coming up from one of these mid-major schools. McNeese that tried it this year, Colorado State that tried it this year. None of those guys have made it to the Sweet 16. Do you think that is because of NIL?
It possibly can be, bro. I don't even want to really just gaslight and say, "Oh no, it's not at all. This is just this, this is how this year is."
Mm-hmm.
That possibly can play a role. I feel like that. I don't think that is necessarily over with. Seeing teams that are going to be Cinderella teams. I feel like you can have it still, but it's going to be a little harder. Uh, to have a Cinderella team, I feel like at this point now, you would have to have a team that got guys from major D1s that transfer to your school, like a school that has a coach that's pretty known. I don't
Yeah.
think he has to be one of the best coaches out, but he's pretty known, and people know that his work is pretty good. And he probably snag guys from other major D1s who probably haven't really been playing that many, that many minutes at this school, but they're still pretty good. But he's building that team up for maybe like a year or two, maybe even 3 years. It'll take for that, you know what I mean, to me to have a Cinderella team now in the tournament, just because with so much money flowing throughout college basketball and just college period, college sports,
Yeah.
you having a lot of these major D1s, they got more money than a lot of these other schools like a Colorado State or any of these schools, man. They got a lot more money than them, and so they're able to kind of not even kind of they're able to throw the bag to a guy. He's going to take it. You know,
Oh, for
uh,
sure.
I feel like now, man, it's gonna if you're gonna want to if you're a coach or anything at one of these programs that's probably not as known to be good at basketball or any sport, is going to take for a way more complex way of thinking and recruiting when it comes to if you want to be relevant in whatever sport that you're competing at in college now.
No, I agree. I think it plays a part in it. I think that does have a part in it because, like you said, there's so much money flowing from everywhere now. But I don't necessarily think that that's just the reason why the mid majors is. It NIL, it plays a part in it, but I wouldn't put that the entire reason. It's going to make it a lot
Yeah.
tougher for these teams to be able to do that though, because as soon as we see you have a good game and you're at Liberty and you drop 40, somebody's going to give you money to get into the transfer portal. I seen Seth Greenberg on ESPN earlier saying that the mid majors are going to really get treated like JUCO now. You're going to go to one of these small mid major schools, or McNeese, or one of these schools for just a couple of years
your name
until
out
we can get your name out there, get some points going, just so you can get an Auburn offer, a Michigan offer, a Texas A&M, somebody like that to give you an offer, and then you can get to one of those schools. So I think it just kind of changes it, the way that we look at it. But at the end of the day, this is basketball. If you get guys out there that can shoot the ball, that can play together as a team, you can beat somebody. It's not like they had NIL players on Florida Gulf Coast when they made it to the Elite Eight, or 10 years ago, whenever that was. It's not like they had a bunch of NIL guys on Butler whenever they got to the championship, even though those guys were good. Gordon Hayward and Shelvin Mack and all those dudes, they were good. Or Wichita State when they did it about 10 years ago with Cleanthony Early and Ron Baker and all those guys. There's always going to be gems that you can find here and there. It's just how many of those gems can you put on the one team. And we seen it with McNeese this year. They won their first game, ended up losing in the second round, but McNeese had like 4 or 5 guys that transferred from Power 4 schools. So there's still going to be an opportunity for them to get it. Can we see a dominant mid-major team? No, but I feel like we haven't seen that in a long time anyway. Seen a team that was just dominant really since, like I said, Butler went back when they went to the championship, when they had Gordon Hayward and Brad Stevens was the coach and all those guys were there. But I feel like we might not see a dominant team, but just for one season, man, it's basketball. It's not like football. Football, you can line up, you can be as good as you want, you can be the top JUCO team. You go out there and play Alabama and they got all 5 stars, you're getting smacked. That just is what it is. But in basketball, man, if you can shoot the ball and you're well coached and you know how to move the ball, you could beat anybody. I mean, at least for 1 or 2 games, can you win a national championship? Probably not, but we don't see any of these Cinderella teams win a national championship. But can you win 2, 3 games in the tournament? For sure, man. So, I think they were kind of dragging in saying, Stephen A. said this will be the death of college basketball with these mid-majors not making it and all that. Like, you gassing it, bro. Like, stop it, man. Like, people want to see Duke. People want to see North Carolina. And if you want to talk about the death of college basketball, make the ACC get good. Make the Big East get good. That's what's killing college basketball. Make the Pac-12 get good. Pac-12 ain't been good since the 80s. Like, make the Pac-12 get good again. Like, that's what would be killing them more than these mid-majors not making it. But I think it's just a change. like we're seeing with everything else in college sports. It's just a little bit of a change that we're seeing right now. Next year, we're going to see one of these smaller schools make another run and go all the way and go to the Sweet 16, maybe get to the Elite Eight. This just happened to be matchups in this year, and I mean they almost did it. It ain't like Colorado State lost on a game-winning shot on a travel, so it's not like it's just foreign and it's something that can't happen. Like obviously, I think we'll be able to see it. I thought St. Mary's kind of had a chance of being able to do it this year, but they ran into a really good Alabama team and they got smacked. A lot of people tried to make it beat a Liberty team, and I knew they was going to get blown out by Oregon. I don't know why that was one of the hottest teams for my people out there that bet, for people to go out there and make bets on, and Liberty got smacked. So, but somebody else will be able to get into that chance and to get that slot on there. I got to ask you about one of your teams, man, the Texas Longhorns. Now, we usually talk about college football when we talk about them, and now we're talking about college basketball because I don't think the athletic director, I think they put so many resources into football that they have absolutely no idea what they're doing with the Texas Longhorns basketball. And it's been like this. It's been like this for a little while now. It's been brewing for a little while. Texas used to get, even when they were bad, they still had top recruits coming in every single year. You still had the Miles Turners. You still had the Mo Bambas. You still had the Jared Allens. You still had all these guys that were at Texas that still came in there and were able to produce and put out. They really haven't been, in my opinion, like a juggernaut and really being good since like the early 2000s, back when them and Baylor used to have a lot of battles when they had Damian James and Dexter Pittman and all those dudes down there at Texas. But the Longhorns, they made it to the first round, whatever it is, the round of 68, when they played in the play-in game. They played Xavier, and they lost in the game. Okay, Xavier goes out in the first round, Xavier gets smacked. That don't have anything to do with it. The crazy part is they fired that coach after they lose, Coach Terry, which isn't surprising. Texas is not doing anything. And it's only going to get worse since you moved into the SEC. So they lose the game. The part that made it crazy was they lose, they fired a coach, and then they hired a coach of the team that they lost to in Xavier. They hired Sean Miller from Xavier to come and beat it. I'm like, bro, what is going on? Because Xavier lost the very next round. So you can't say it like, and Xavier is a basketball school. It's not like, oh, this coach came in and changed the Xavier program around. No, actually, they kind of got worse. But they beat you so bad, and you were so mad that you said, hey, man, we're going to hire the dude. We're going to hire the dude to come in that just beat us in the first round of 68 to come in, even though he just got smacked in the very next game in the first round. Can you make any sense of this? I have no idea what's going on. It's not like Sean Miller was one of those hot coaching names. Xavier didn't do good. Like I said, Xavier is a basketball school. It's a team we're used to seeing in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. They lost in the first round. And Texas said, all right, we got to hire somebody. Let's hire the dude that just beat us to come and be the coach. I don't know what's going on. I think the athletic director has really just forgotten about the basketball team. And he's kind of just filling in spots and like, let's just hurry up and get somebody in there before we got to spend some more money. We already got to spend all this money on football. We don't want to spend no more money to do a basketball. We cool with just being sorry. That's what this hire said to me. What do you think about them hiring the Xavier coach right after they beat him?
Yeah, this is really stupid. The athletic director, man, in Texas, he don't care about the men's basketball team at all. I don't think he cares about it at all. I don't really understand why you would go get a guy. It's not to say that he's a bad coach or anything, but why would you go get a guy?
No, he's a good coach.
He's no better than the coach that y'all just fired, though. They just happen to beat us. That don't mean that he's better.
They just happen to beat us. Round.
Yeah, they got whooped the next round. So, like, I mean, that don't mean that, oh, he's better than the coach that we got right now because they beat us. Like, nah, man, he's very, very much so equal, I would say.
I'd probably give him a leg up on him.
He a little leg up on him, but it's not just like it's not a major upgrade.
No,
you know. And they wasted no time. Like we could have waited.
The tournament's not over.
Yeah,
like
it's not even over. I could have waited, bro. We could have waited till the tournament was over. This wasn't an urgent like. It wasn't urgent to just go and get somebody ASAP. It really wasn't. And so I'm kind of lost for words a little bit when it comes to that. I think the athletic director really just he don't really care about the men's basketball team. Everything else is going very good. The baseball team, even though we just lost against LSU the other day, but The baseball team doing good. The women's basketball team is still pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Softball's good. Track.
they're playing great.
Every,
The women's
everything.
basketball team is where the money's going.
Yeah, where the money's going. Everything else right now on campus is great. I don't know what vendetta the athletic director has. I don't know if he he wanted to play basketball and just really wasn't that good or something. Like I don't know what's going on. Like, but he don't really care about the men's basketball team right now, man. Because if he did, I'm not even mad about firing the coach. I'm just upset about how fast we went and just got somebody, and then we went and got somebody that we literally just lost to, and the tournament's not even over. So there's no telling what coach is going to be in the market during the offseason that we could have possibly got.
Man, Texas got one of the deepest bags out of anybody that's trying to go and get a coach.
We got the deepest bag.
They could go and get an NBA coach to come and coach this team.
Yes,
Like this,
that's why.
like you could have gotten so
that's what
many
I'm saying.
people.
Like,
and then what is the
so many
coach supposed to say? Because it's not like you got a team full of seniors. Some of these dudes are young guys. He's supposed to come in and meet the team and be like, hey, y'all, this is why y'all lost because y'all ain't listening. Like, what is he supposed to say? Like, he just beat them.
They didn't even think about that. They didn't even think about that. Like, they beefed up with him. They not going to like him. You think they going to like him? No, bro.
This whole team is going to be in the transfer portal.
Come on, man. I'm not trying to play with this dude. He just beat us. I'm not trying to play for him. Why would I want to play for him and he just beat us? So he can be like, oh, well, y'all lost. That's why we beat y'all.
Yeah.
Like, bruh. Like, he's like, come on, bro. Like, that's crazy. You putting them in a tough situation. So, yeah, man, like I said, he don't care about the athletic. The athletic director don't care about men's basketball, bro. He want to make this type of move if he did.
He can't. I think he said, hey, man, we spending too much money. We got money going to football. Our girls' basketball team is nice. They got one of the best players in the nation in Booker. That's cool. The track team is nice. Baseball team is nice. Maybe we just need to spare a couple dollars here and let's just go get somebody who's available. Hey, let's get the dude that just beat us. All right, bet. Let's make it happen. Like, bro, y'all just lost on Wednesday, bro. You lost on Wednesday. You hired this man on Monday, the guy that beat you. After he lost, he didn't even get the chance to think about it until Friday because he lost on Friday.
What's that, like 5 days?
Man, he lost Friday. Y'all called him over the weekend. It became official today. But the reports was already out that they were looking at him by Saturday and Sunday.
I'm saying we lost 5 days ago.
Yeah, on
Y'all
Wednesday.
had to do within like 3 days. They had him within like 3.
As soon as they
that's
lost,
crazy.
you called him and was like, hey, what you think about playing with us, bro?
Yeah. Man, how much they paid this dude, man?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to come out and see. They ain't talked about no money yet. Obviously, it's going to be more than whatever he was making at Xavier. And I mean, that was a winning coach, and he's a winning coach throughout, time. He's a guy that's won at multiple levels. He just didn't do that much at Xavier, in my opinion, and he was only there for 3 years. The athletic director said he helped them get this program back on track back to where they should be. I mean, all that's cool, but he ain't do nothing for real, y'all. And for Texas to go out there and hire him right away, like, what's going on?
I don't get it, man. Like, I can give the best analogy that I can give is from my own experiences. Whenever we was at Midway, Coach Gamble left to go back to Allen, and we got Mansfield Coach Hume.
Yep.
We did not like him because we played Mansfield plenty of times. We beat them more than they beat us, but I remember the year prior we lost to them because our kicker had missed a field goal.
I remember that.
And he comes to Midway. You should have seen how we looked at him when he first introduced himself to us. And we did not like him. We didn't like him at all. Definitely the seniors, us, we didn't like him at all because we played against them more than what the underclassmen had. We did not like him.
Yeah,
I almost didn't respect him.
I mean, that's a strange scenario to even get put in. Like,
it's strange, yeah. Like, it's just strange and it's just awkward, and you don't really want to have to put players in that type of situation, and not even just the players, but the coach as well. And it's just an awkward situation. So that's what they're finna go through, and it's gonna come a time where he's gonna be like, like I'm telling you, he's gonna come a time where he's gonna be getting on to somebody, and he's gonna be like, that's why y'all lost against Xavier. That's why y'all lost against us.
That's why we beat y'all. Y'all sorry because y'all didn't do this right.
That's why we beat y'all. And I know, come on, man. Like, if a person don't got the right type of control, self-control, they gonna want to square
Oh,
up with
somebody's
coach.
crashing. I don't know who, but somebody
Yeah,
on
they're
that
gonna
team is gonna
crash.
crash. Whoever the 13th man is, he gonna go ahead and just decide to
Yeah,
crash out.
he has nothing to lose. Yeah, 13, 12, man, he has nothing to lose.
And what is
He
the
has
coach
nothing to
that
lose. He's
just got
barely on the
fired
roster.
supposed to think? Now, obviously, no one cares about that because he just got fired. But, bro, they
Yeah,
beat
like,
y'all by 6 points. You act like they came in and blew y'all
yeah,
out. It literally came down to the
I be
last,
like, bro,
and they had to come back. Texas was winning. I literally turned the
yeah,
game off because I
they was
picked Texas
winning.
to win. Texas was
We
winning.
was up by like, bro, we was
It
up
was
by like
47 to
20.
39 at halftime. So they was up,
Almost,
and
yeah,
then
almost,
Texas
yeah.
came out, started doing good again, and then Xavier just really started killing them in the last second half of the game. Like that something you saw in that second half surprised you so much. You said, "No, we gotta have this guy." Even though he goes out the next round and loses to an
Dude,
Illinois team, you said, "No, we
if I'm
gotta
the
have this
coach,
guy."
and y'all fire me, and I barely, like, I mean, they barely lost, bro. They lost by 6 points, bro. Like, I'm gonna purposely, I gotta be petty. I have to be petty, and I have to go to a rival.
I'm
I
throwing
gotta
salt in
see
the
you
game.
dudes.
I'm calling all the dudes' parents and
I'm
being like, "Hey, man, y'all get in the
man,
transfer portal." I'm throwing salt in the
get in
game.
transfer portal now. Yeah, like, come where I'm going to. I might go. And this crazy coming out of my mouth because I despise this school. I despise everything about them. They have a lovely campus. I ain't gonna lie. They probably, when we were in the Big 12, they had the best campus. You know what school I'm talking about too. Oklahoma.
Oh yeah,
I'll
yeah, yeah,
probably go to
yeah.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, you got to
I'll
do
probably go to
something.
Oklahoma, man.
You got to do something.
I gotta go crazy. Even if I'm not the head coach over there, like, I just need to be on the staff.
And
I just need
start
to be
throwing
on the
salt in the
staff.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
you got to
that's
do
bogus
something.
that they let him go like that.
You got to do
They
something,
only
man.
got the dude that just beat me. I get the dude that just beat me. Yeah, I'm tripping.
Athletic
Yeah, I'm
director,
tripping bad
man.
if I'm.
Shout out to you. I know you got a tough job, but bro, I don't think he was really thinking on that. I mean, I hope Sean Miller comes in and does a great job with Texas. But am I
Yeah,
gonna be
I do
surprised
too.
when he
I do
doesn't?
too.
No, because ain't nobody. I remember when they got Shaka Smart. He was the biggest coaching name out there. They went and got Shaka Smart to come in and be the coach. That didn't work. I had Rick
I
Barnes as
remember
the
that.
coach. That didn't work. Like y'all tried a
That
lot of
don't
stuff
work.
with Texas basketball. I don't know why it's not exactly working because you're the
I don't
biggest
know why
school
it don't
in
be
Texas.
popping. I don't know why
They don't recruit
why it
right.
don't be popping. It's crazy.
They don't recruit right. How is all these dudes from Texas
They
getting to
don't.
other schools? Now I'm cool with it because Baylor is gonna keep smacking y'all, so I'm cool with that. But
Most
it's like
definitely.
at the same time, y'all got the most money. It's like Texas A&M. Why are y'all not good? And A&M got a good team this year, so I ain't necessarily talking about this year. They went all the way down to the end in that Michigan game. But like schools like
Yeah.
that's got all these big budgets in Texas. Like bro, we got hoopers in Texas, not just only football players. There's plenty of hoopers in Texas
And we got a lot of
and
hoopers.
Louisiana.
We got a lot of hoopers.
So
Yeah,
like,
and Louisiana too.
what's going on there? I don't know why Texas is so sorry, man. But shout out to the athletic director. You made a really quick decision there. If it doesn't work, I'm definitely gonna laugh because this was probably one of the pettiest things anybody's ever done. I think as far as just the coaching hire that quickly is actually kind of crazy. The guy you just lost to, we're gonna fire you, and before you can even get your stuff out, the dude that just kicked you out and made you get fired is bringing his boxes in like, hey, big bro, you good? I'm trying to move my stuff in this desk right here. So I don't know. That's kind of funny that they went out there and did that. But the tournament is in the Sweet 16 right now. We get the best games of all year happening coming up on Thursday. We get some of these matchups. Auburn, Michigan's going to be really great. Duke versus Arizona is going to be a great one that I'm looking forward to. Houston and Purdue is going to be a really interesting matchup as well. And then obviously that Tech versus Arkansas. If Arkansas can keep going with Calipari, even though everybody kind of wrote them off already, I think that'll be a really good matchup. Want to move on to some football topics before we get off the show here today. Before I do, a couple props that I like here for tonight. I always give y'all a couple of props that I like. For those of y'all on Prize Picks, I like Jaden McDaniels plus on over points, rebounds, and assists, 21.5. Jaden McDaniels, if for those of y'all that watching me, he's one of those go-to picks for me. He more times than not, he's going to come through on the points, rebounds, assists. 21.5 seems to be his number. He's went over that 3 times in the last 5 games. So I trust him to be able to go over that game. Go over that prop again today against Indiana because Indiana doesn't play any type of defense, so I expect for them to go out there and get that. Another one I like, even though this game just started, Jackson Hayes plus 13 points and rebounds. He's went over that prop in his last 5 games. All 5 he's went over that prop on the plus 13 points and rebounds. So those are a couple props. And then one more, this isn't a lock, but this is just one more that I like to throw out there. Paige Buckets, Paige Beckers, whatever y'all want to call her. 24 24.5 points and assists against South Dakota State tonight in that game. I like for her to go over that. You know how I feel about Paige Buckets on the show, man. She's a dog, so I think she'll go over that. There's a couple of props that I like here tonight for those of y'all that like to get on the betting and like to get on the prospects, whichever app you bet on, because prospects ain't giving me no money. So whichever sports app that y'all like to go on, the Spets Boarding site, those are a couple of the locks that I like for tonight. Moving on to some NFL topics, folks. The NFL draft is less than a month away. NFL free agency is kind of wrapping up a little bit. We're still seeing some guys out there, still some more domino pieces to fall for these teams. Over the weekend, Jameis Winston got signed to the New York Giants. Jameis Winston is a guy that I always like to bring in as a backup quarterback. I think that in the right scenario, he can get you to about 8-8. Everybody always talking about the picks that he threw. Talk about the 40 touchdowns he threw and 5,000 yards that he threw too. Because y'all only like to use that when it's convenient. Eli Manning and Brett Favre throwing a bunch of picks. Y'all say, man, just look how those guys can get the ball down the field. Jameis Winston throw a bunch of picks. Yeah, they Hall of Famers, and just look how they get the ball down the field. And, man, when Phillip Rivers throw 4 or 5 picks out, man, look how this guy can sling the ball. Jameis Winston do it. All right, he's terrible. He'll never be able to lead a franchise, all this kind of stuff. There's a difference between a franchise QB and a good QB. Is Jameis Winston your franchise QB? No. But most guys aren't your franchise QB. That's the problem. It's only like 10 of those in the league. So if you're looking at just like a bridge guy, I like Jameis Winston. He's somebody that's not scared to throw the ball. I hate when they get those bridge quarterbacks that come in, a Jimmy Garoppolo, and you're going to go throw for 80 yards. Like, bro, you're the quarterback. Just throw the ball. We already know you're not a franchise quarterback. Like, what are you being scared for? Why are you scared to throw? Just throw the ball. Deshaun Watson last year, you getting games out there with 100 yards on 20 attempts. Like, what are you doing? You just throw the ball down the field. Either you're going to give somebody a chance to win or you're going to lose. You were probably going to lose anyway. At least give you guys a chance to go out there. So I like Jameis Winston getting there. I still think they draft a quarterback. Shador is probably still right there as far as somebody they'll draft for a quarterback if he's left, because some people are saying Shador might be gone. Shador might go to Cleveland. I'm really hoping and praying that doesn't happen. I don't want to see Shador in Cleveland. But if he does, that just is what it is. And then if they do that, the Giants will probably, move up and probably try to take a Jackson Dart, a Quinn Ewers, or somebody like that. But right now, I think I got Shador going to them. Jameis gets signed as a quarterback-friendly deal. 2 years, $8 million as he comes in to be the backup. What you think about Jameis heading down to New York to play with the Giants?
Yeah, whoever that they get in the draft, because we all believe that they're going to get a quarterback, and it may be Shador for sure. But whoever, though, that they get as far as quarterback play, they're going to have somebody really good that they can really learn under. You know, I feel like Jameis Winston, he's somebody he's a positive. He's just a positive energy that you need in any locker room. He's a leader, bro. Regardless if he's playing or not, he's a leader. He's somebody that you really need up in the locker room. He brings nothing but good vibes in the locker room and a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom that he can really pour into a rookie quarterback that's going to come in to that team. Definitely if it's Shador. And he can tell you about the ups and the downs of being a quarterback in the league, you know, because he's experienced both.
Thanks.
And so to me, that's a really good pickup for them, man. If they haven't done anything as far as in the offseason, that right there was a really, really good pickup for them. Because anytime you get Jameis Winston in your locker room, man, he's just gonna bring an energy that really nobody else can really replicate, you know, as far as in the league. To me, I feel like he's probably one of the best guys that you can add to your locker room.
Man, I agree. Jameis Winston is a locker room guy. If you're trying to build a culture, which the Giants need to do, Jameis Winston is a guy you need to have in your locker room. Whether he's playing or whether he's not playing, he's going to have the same energy. He's going to encourage guys. He's going to help guys out. And let's not act like dudes like Chase Daniels and Blaine Gabbert didn't be in the league for like 20 years. People are like, man, Jameis still getting signed? Bro, Chase Daniels was never a starter. He played like 16 years. Blaine Gabbert was a starter for like 6 games. Right. He played like 15 years. Brandon Wheat. Chad Henne just retired like last year. Yeah, Chad Henne got drafted in like 05 or something. He just stopped being, and he was only a starter for like 2 years. So let's not act like it's crazy for Jameis Winston to go out there and get another contract. I hope Jameis Winston plays till he's 40. He brings good energy. He's a guy that can come in and play backup quarterback. If you need to come in, if somebody gets hurt, he can win you a game. If you have a competitive team, he can win you a game. Like, that's all that we need. I don't get why Jameis Winston gets to hate. I can't believe James Winston got another. He's still in the league. He got another contract. Man, come on, bro. Y'all dudes is haters, man. Of course he got another contract.
They still salty how he was doing their teams when he was at Florida State. That's the problem.
That's
Y'all
what
need
it
to
is.
get
They
over that.
dominated.
I need to get over that. Yeah, y'all need to let that go, man.
He
That was about a
dominated. Y'all
good
man, he
decade
stole them
ago.
crab legs. Man, it's with crab
Yeah, he
legs,
stole
bro.
them
He'll be
crab
all
legs.
right. It's crab legs. He ate them in the store. Don't
Ain't
act
nothing
like
but
y'all
some
ain't never
crab.
got no
Yeah, ain't nothing
food
but some
and ate them
crab.
while you walked around the store. Y'all done did that a couple times.
Act like they ain't used to go into Walmart and steal stuff out of Walmart at 2 a.m.,
Man,
3
come
a.m.
on,
before
bro.
they had got the cameras in there.
Walking around eating
Y'all
the
gotta
popcorn
stop being
chicken in the
like that.
aisles while you
In
fake
the aisle,
shopping.
man.
Like y'all done
Opening
did
up,
that before.
opening up Gatorades. They
Yeah,
opening up
I
Gatorades and
don't
sipping
drank
on
2
Gatorades.
Powerades and got to walk out. Got to
Them
walk
Powerades
outside
and
empty
look.
handed now. But yeah, like I
Yeah,
don't get
man.
that, man. And if they had NIL back there, he wouldn't have had to do that. Because let's not act like he wasn't a 5-star quarterback that went to Florida
Come on.
State. He'd have had him 6, 7, 8 million. They paying some of these dudes that can barely play 8 million. What dude from Oklahoma just got like 3, 4 million to go to Auburn. Like man, what do we?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. So if they would have did him right, he wouldn't have had to steal no crab leg. But shout out to Jameis Winston, man. I hope he plays till he's like 40. He's a positive guy in the NFL, and he can play. Like Brian Hoyer was a backup for he just retired. Brian Hoyer.
Yeah.
Like what are we talking? We talking about dudes that can't play at all, that are backups for 20 years. Like they can't play even a little bit. They can't play, and they got to be backups for that long. So shout out to Jameis, man, getting that contract going out there to New York because y'all need to do some type of culture building while you're down there. Puka Nacua, the receiver for the Los Angeles Rams, said he's 23 years old right now. Said by 30 years old, I want to be done playing this game and I'm going to be retired by the time I am 30 years old. And some people were like, man, 30, you're just not getting into your prime and all this. Hey, man, these dudes know I can make a lot of money while I'm young, and I'm not trying to play until I'm 38 and then my egg is scrambled. He wants to be able to think for himself by the time he's 30. He doesn't want to go out there. And then look how Puka Nacua plays. Man, he's getting drag routes and slant routes the whole game. He's getting hit by linebackers the whole game. He's across the middle of the field. He's not trying to do that till he's 35 years old. He's not going to break Jerry Rice's record, especially if you're a receiver. If you're a receiver, a lot of y'all should think like this. Because if you're trying to, I'm going to get in there and be one of the top, you're never going to touch any of Jerry Rice's records. Those are over. No receiver is ever going to come into this league and break those records. Jerry Rice played for, honestly, too long. Like, a lot of them records ain't going to be broken, bro. And you're not good enough to do what Moss did in the short amount of time he was able to do it. So, okay, if you're not doing that and you're just getting some money, he's going to get generational money he's 23 right now. That's another 7 years. He's going to get 2 contracts in that time. He's going to get plenty of money to be able to play throughout that time. So I don't think it's that bad that Puka Nacua said he wants to retire at 30. What you think about what Nacua had to say?
Yeah, man, you good. Go ahead and retire at 30. You're going to have your bag. You save all your money and invest your money in the right things, you'll be good. I don't really see no big deal as far as him wanting to retire at 30. I feel like that'll be a long enough career for him. I mean, you can't get mad at a dude or try to judge a dude when it comes to how he wants to dictate his own career.
Yeah.
You can't get mad at that and start giving, your opinion in a demeaning way, being like, oh, he doesn't really love the game or he doesn't really want to be a great. You know what I mean? The dude, for him, that's what's going to really, satisfy him. So then, I mean, I don't see why anyone else should have a problem with it. I think that'll be good enough for him. I mean, how old is he right now? Like 23?
He's 23, yeah. Got plenty of time.
Yeah, he's 23. That's plenty of time, bro. That's 7 more seasons. Do y'all know how the average number? Y'all know the average number for a person in the league?
Exactly.
Like,
it's like a 3. The average is 2 or 3 years in the NFL.
Like two or 3 years in the league. What I just say? How long he been in the league already? What, 3 years now?
He just finished his 3rd season, I think.
Yeah, he just in his 3rd season. So he's well.
He's going into year 3. He's only played 2 seasons.
He's going into year 3. Yeah, like come on, bro. He's already met that. So to say another 7 years, I mean, that's great, bro. That's great. He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
So,
man. And then he said he's kind of thought of Aaron Donald as what he said and how he was able to go out on his own terms. And that's exactly. Aaron Donald is still able to move around. Aaron Donald could have been playing still right now if he wanted to. But he did everything he wanted to do. He got plenty of money on the contracts. He went out there and won a Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl. It wasn't like he was just a guy out there on the Super Bowl team. He won the Super Bowl. He did everything he could do. No need to just keep
That's
going
like
and keep tearing something every other year for no reason.
it's like Marshawn said, man. Stack y'all chicken,
Facts.
and go ahead and get out the league, man. Do what you do and get out the league, man, and make sure you stack your chicken.
So your mind can be right, bro. Y'all don't be
So your
thinking later
mind,
enough
nobody
in life, bro. Like
'cause
your
no,
mind not
in
gonna be
life, bro.
right
Yeah,
at 40. You
nobody
40
trying
is
to.
young.
No disrespect. I love Evander Holyfield, but nobody trying to
Yeah, come
be
on,
over
bro.
here
Nobody
50 years old talking like Evander Holyfield, bro.
talking like
And if
Bernard
you don't know what I'm
Hopkins.
talking about, yeah, you talking like Bernard Hopkins. Go look at these dudes' interviews. Go look at these dudes' interviews, bro. You gonna see what I'm talking about. There ain't no shot or nothing towards them dudes. I love them guys, but nobody trying to sound like that when they 50 years old. 50 years old is very young.
That's young.
That's,
Like
that's
you
very
want to be
young.
regular when you get to these ages, man. Shout out to both of them too, to Evander and to Bernard Hopkins. And not to change the subject real quick, but definitely got to give a shout out and a rest in peace to one of the greatest, man, George Foreman, who passed away over the
Oh,
weekend.
definitely.
One of the greatest fighters of
Texas.
all time, a Texas boy, straight out of Houston legend, man. One of the greatest of all time. When you talk about just straight up power, like George Foreman is one of them dudes. Like he really don't care about getting punched. And not getting punched once.
Not
Like
at
he
all.
don't care about getting punched the entire fight. That's why he was able to
Time.
fight at 30-something and 40-something years old.
Yeah.
He was fighting 20-year-olds at 40 and was getting punched directly in the face and was like, all right, cool. Hitting them 2 or 3 times with a couple of good shots, and they taking naps. Like George Foreman is one of the greatest. Go ahead.
You ever seen him punch the bag leading up? Like I watched his workouts leading up to the Ali fight. I went back and was watching all of that. I done watched it a few times now.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was hitting the bag so hard, he was creasing the bag, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like he's hitting the bag, and the bag is
That's
like
crazy.
is leaving an imprint in the bag, bro. He was creasing the bag. I never seen nobody do that in my life, bro.
Man,
Never
George
seen
Foreman,
nobody.
I mean,
Only-
it's
the
hard
only
to
dude
argue
that
is
to
he
me-
the hardest puncher ever.
It's
Is
either him, Tyson,
Yeah.
Ray Mercer,
Yeah, Mercer.
because he was sleeping dudes. He was
Damn.
sleeping dudes. He was sleeping dudes. Who else, man? What was the Samoan cat, bro, in the 80s? And
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. Man, I can't think
I'm
of his
talking
name.
about
He's on the short list if he ain't the hardest puncher ever. He's on the short list
He
of hardest
probably- I don't
punchers
hear-
ever.
he the hardest natural, because if you look at his technique really wasn't. I mean,
I was trash. His technique was trash.
it was
A lot of his techniques was trash.
Okay, go ahead.
But he was gonna knock you out though. It didn't matter. It was
He gonna knock you out,
similar
though.
to prime Deontay Wilder, not putting Deontay Wilder on the same level as
He
George
country
Foreman.
strong.
I'm just talking about
He's
just the
country
straight up
strong.
strength. The technique that had nothing to do
Straight
with it.
country.
Like I'm just gonna punch you so hard that you're not gonna wake up. Like
Yeah.
that's the only plan.
He got form. He got that farm boy streak. Like he pick hay up every day. He pick
100
hay up
bales
every
of
day. Yeah, 100 bales of hay every day.
George Foreman, yeah, man. Shout out to one of the GOATs, man. George Foreman, rest in peace, man. Like I said, one of the hardest hitters ever, one of the best fighters ever, man. Gonna go down to the Boxing Hall of Fame if he's not already. Pretty sure he's already in the Boxing Hall of Fame, but gonna go down as one of the greats, man. And that fight against Ali is gonna cement his legacy, even though he lost. Not many people went that many rounds with Ali, and that adds to Ali's legacy that he was able to go that many rounds with George Foreman. So for you to be a part of that, you have to be one of the greats, and George Foreman's definitely do that.
Ali knew to stick and move.
Oh yeah, he knew that. He knew to sit up there in that corner and block, man. As long as he don't hit my chin, I'll be all right. Everything else gonna be broke up.
Yeah.
You seen how Ali was moving after that. Everything else was broke up,
Yeah.
but he was able to keep him
He
away
was
from that
hurt.
chin. So he was able to keep going and keep moving forward, man. So shout out to George Foreman. While we got a couple minutes here left on the show, talk a little bit about this NFL draft, man. The draft is right around the corner. I want to talk about a guy that we've had as, consensus number one at receiver, man, and that's T-Mac Terrio McMillan out of Arizona. But I think it's a strong possibility, in my opinion, that he might not be wide receiver one taken off the board. And I think that might be going to Matthew Golden out of Texas. And it almost sounds crazy to say, because if you go back to the beginning of college football season, nobody would have thought this dude could have been wide receiver one. Nobody would have thought this dude could be wide receiver 10. Let's just be honest. We had his teammate Isaiah Bond way in front of him, and he's proven to be, in my opinion, a lot better than Isaiah Bond. He's faster, he's stronger. His route running is definitely more crisp, and I think this dude got a strong chance of being wide receiver 1. If he's not wide receiver 1 off the board, who I had teams like New Orleans taking him, but I think New Orleans might be going quarterback now. I had teams like that taking him earlier on in the season or earlier on in this draft prospecting. But as of right now, I think New Orleans is going to get a quarterback, and I think that if that happens, the first receiver taken off the board might be at number 12 from the Cowboys. And if the Cowboys get the first receiver off the board, I think they're taking Matthew Golden. I don't think they take a team.
Matthew Golden. Okay, bet. I'm glad you just said that because I was going to say we just lost Brandon Cooks. He's going back to New Orleans.
Yep.
We don't have a wide receiver 2.
Yeah, they don't.
We don't at all. We need a wide receiver 2. If we don't get a number 2 receiver for us right now, the season is going to be worse than what this year was.
Oh, definitely.
Because all they're going to do is just blanket CD. Every team.
And why wouldn't
every team going to blanket CD? Why wouldn't you? Yeah. Because you know the ball going over there. And we don't have anyone else good enough that's even we have no good receivers. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. We have no good receivers.
I mean, and that's obvious. It's not even a stretch to say. I mean, it's almost kind of obvious.
We got a dude from South Alabama a few years ago. He's trash. He's only on the team. Tolbert, yeah, he's not good. He's not good, bro. And he only on the team because we don't have anyone else. If we release him, who else do we have? So we need to okay, I love that you went with that because I think that we should get Matthew Golden. I'm hoping that we get Matthew Golden. I feel like Matthew Golden is the best receiver to me. He's one of the best receivers, I would say. He's for sure top 3.
Yeah.
To be in this draft. And if people really just go back and look, and I just look at his 40 time, I don't even really just too much even want to talk about his 40 time. That did add on to his play on the field.
Yeah.
But you go look at his routes, he might be the best route runner in the draft.
He's up there. It's between him and him. I like Mbuka. I would probably give him a slight edge.
Yeah, Mbuka too.
But Mbuka wasn't the number 1 receiver on a Final Four team. That was Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden was the number 1 receiver on a Final Four team in college football with Isaiah Bond missing a lot of time.
Like he just happened to become the number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
He just happened to become the number 1 receiver. Like he was known coming out of his year at Houston, his time at Houston.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like he really just took it up a notch. He took it up a notch, bro. And when he got that chance to be the number 1 receiver for Texas, even before he was the number 1 receiver, he was just the number 2 receiver this season. Early in the season, he was still making plays. And whenever we needed a guy to make a play, it was Matthew Golden this past season. Anytime we needed someone to make a catch, whenever we was down or we just needed some type of spark on offense, he was the guy most of the time, I would say, that, if not all the time, that made that play.
The Arizona State game, 4th down.
Yeah.
Like they don't even get to the Final Four and lose to Arizona State if Matthew Golden doesn't make that catch in the back of the end zone.
Man.
Like, so Matthew Golden is proving that he. Yeah, go ahead.
Even in the Georgia game,
both of them, he made plays
in the SEC champion. Yeah, in both the games, definitely in the SEC championship game.
Yep,
he kept us in that game, bro. I'm even thinking about the Vanderbilt game.
Yep, definitely in the Vanderbilt game. He's just
unguardable, bro. Like I love watching him run routes, and I just like watching the kid play football, man. He's a really, really, really good player, and I think that coming into the season, they probably was going to say he probably wouldn't even been top 15 receiver in college football.
No, at the beginning of the season, no. He wasn't. He was barely the number 2 receiver on the depth chart. They wanted that to be Jonte.
Yeah.
But Jonte ended up doing what he did.
I was hoping it was going to be Jonte. Yeah.
Golden was supposed to come in as a special guy, kind of like, what was the little short guy they had that was fast too?
From Bolden too.
Yeah, Bolden. Yeah. They wanted him to be kind of like that. They didn't expect him to even come in and be definitely not a number 1, but they barely expect him to be a number 2. That was supposed to be Jonte this year. But that didn't end up working out. So
Yeah.
Golden had to just move his way up the depth chart, just like he's done in this draft process. He started out as like wide receiver 10 or 11 after he ran a 4.3.
Mhm.
Then they moved him up, and now that people are starting to see him more and looking more at his tape, they're moving him up even more because I like T-Mac out of Arizona. I think he's got a chance to be a really good receiver. But every year I watch Steve Smith's evaluation on receivers. I hold his standard up to how he evaluates receivers really high because it turns out to be true every single year.
He's never wrong.
He's never wrong on receivers. I don't care what they say. ESPN don't want to put him up there or some of these other guys, but he knows what he's talking about a receiver, and the way that he evaluates receivers, he hasn't been wrong since he told everybody that Cooper Kupp was going to be way better than Corey Davis, even though everybody thought Corey Davis was going to be the guy coming out of Western Michigan. And he said, I'm telling y'all right now, Cooper Kupp is going to be, yeah, that's what they thought. He was 6'4", fast. They thought he was going to be like another Megatron. But McMillan, he said, and I was watching this thing, and a lot of what he said in the tape is true. A lot of his stuff is sloppy, and that's something that does not work in the NFL. In college, you can be sloppy and just be an athlete. You can't point me a guy that's a successful receiver in the NFL that is sloppy. You're not going to find anybody like that. You can't. These DBs in the league are too good. You can't be sloppy. Technique is going to get you beat every single time. If you go out there and be sloppy in some of your routes, you don't come out of your routes with a lot of break. That was what he said about Keon Coleman last year, and everybody still had Keon Coleman coming out of Florida State super high. And what did we see this year? He got better, and I like that he got better throughout the year. But at the beginning of the year, they were trying to throw him jump balls, and they were trying to give him go routes, and it wasn't working at all. He was getting locked daily. Every game he was getting locked because he was being sloppy. He got a lot better on his footwork and being more precise in how he wants to break in his routes, and he got better at the end of the year. And I'm not even saying that McMillan can't work on that. But if he doesn't come in and work on that right away and just think I'm just going to come in this league and be dominant just because, that's not going to work, bro, because he's not like the other wide receiver ones we've seen the last couple of years. McMillan, he's nice. He's a good size. He got good speed and all that stuff. But he's not a Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not a Malik Neighbors. Those guys were elite at route running and all these different things coming out of college. McMillan is not that. So I could easily see Matthew Golden becoming the first receiver off the board. And like I said, that could be to the Dallas Cowboys because only team that I really see a strong chance of taking Matthew Golden before the Cowboys at 12 is the 49ers. 49ers is one of those teams you just can't trust. They know how to scout. They know how to see talent.
Man, if they get him, bro, oh, my God, I'm sick.
I can see it happen.
Sick, bro. I see it happening, too.
Because they let Debo go, and they've been trying to move off Ayuk quietly, but they've been trying to move off Ayuk because I said last year that they shouldn't have paid Ayuk all that money. Y'all let him bully y'all into paying him $120 million. Y'all knew Brandon Ayuk wasn't worth no $120 million. Y'all knew that. But y'all gave him the money anyway because y'all let him bully into it. But I think they're trying to move off that contract too. And, man, don't be surprised you see a Matthew Golden get into that. Don't be surprised you see a T-Mac get into that because I don't think Chicago wants a receiver. I think T-Mac will probably get taken by the Panthers at 8, if anything else, because the Panthers need another receiver. Xavier Legette, I like him. I think he's funny. His accent is terrible, but I think he's a funny dude and all that stuff. But too many of those games last year, we saw wide open touchdowns that he dropped. Xavier Legette has to work on. I'm not saying that he can't get better, but they need another receiver out there. They've whiffed on a few receivers in the last couple of years in Carolina. So I can see T-Mac going out.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Why have they?
They keep missing on receivers.
Yeah, y'all suck, bro. Like, how are y'all missing? It's crazy, bro.
I mean, if it's front office, man. I stopped liking the Panthers when they did Cam the way they did Cam.
And then they let
Dave Tepper come in, and he's one of those guys that think because I got a lot of money and I made a lot of money in business that I know how to run an NFL team and has absolutely no idea what he was doing. He hired Matt Rule and then fired Matt Rule. Then he hired Frank Wright. Then he hired Frank Wright. Then he fired Frank Wright. Now they got another coach in there, and I'm like, okay, man, you don't know what you're doing. The roster decisions they made, you have no idea what you're doing. So that's why they keep messing up. They got an owner that doesn't know anything about football that just bought a team and thinks he knows something about football. He's got to let the football guys make the football decisions. So that's what they got to do there. I like what they were able to do at the end of the year with Bryce Young and those guys and start playing better. Xavier Legette start playing better. Shout out Chuba Hubbard, another Big 12 guy. He got paid. They tried to get that spot to Miles Sanders. Now Miles Sanders is on the Cowboys, which I think is going to definitely be an upgrade from what they just dealt with at running back. But they got Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams out there. So I think maybe a T-Mac could go somewhere like number 8 to the Carolina Panthers. If he does that, it'll just be on the 49ers because the Bears don't want to pick a receiver. They got DJ Moore, and they just took Rome Odunze in the first round, top 10 last year. So I think they'll try to build with those guys. So the Cowboys could be getting a Matthew Golden, man. He could be staying out there he could be staying in Texas to start his career, which I think will be good for the Cowboys, man. They not only need somebody to be able to come in and be that second receiver, but they need that speed element. Kevontae Turpin, I like that they re-signed him, but he's not a real receiver. No one's really scared of him when he runs a post route. Most of the time because the post route's ugly. Because he's running too fast. Like he don't know how to slow down in and out of a break.
He rounding it out too, bro.
Like, he is. Yeah, so I think Matthew Golden will be a good pickup for them moving forward. Last bit of news here in the NFL. Looking at some of these receivers that are left while we're talking about receivers that are left in this free agent market. I think obviously the draft has a lot to do with it. Guys want to see where people fall in the draft and all this kind of stuff. But there's some really good receivers still left out there. In my opinion, 4 really good receivers is left. Keenan Allen, one of the best route runners in the league. I don't know why he's still left out there. People talk about his age, all this kind of stuff. Bro, that age don't matter. This dude's one of the top route runners. The Bears' offense was just terrible last year. That's why he didn't have that great of a season last year in Chicago. Their offense was terrible. Keenan Allen's one of the best route runners in the NFL. He's very consistent. Yeah, one of the most consistent receivers for a long time. When the Chargers had all them terrible quarterbacks in there, he was still playing good. Even when they had Herbert in there, he was playing good. Tyler Lockett, another really good route runner. A guy that can help a lot of teams. Like I'm looking directly at teams like the Cowboys. Like, bro, what are you doing? You can get these guys on the vet minimum at this point. Stephon Diggs is still left out there, and Amari Cooper's still out there. These are all still valuable receivers in the league. So to see that these guys are still left, all those guys are 30 plus. So I get it. But these guys can help a team right now. Like I think, like I said, the Cowboys could use all 4 of those dudes. Any of the 4 that I just named, they could use to come in and be a second option. They got rid of Brandon Cooks, but I think all 4 of them dudes are better than Brandon Cooks. So why not bring in a veteran and draft? Because you got to put all your chips in on the offense. All your money's going to CD and the Dak. So all your chips got to go into the offensive side of the ball anyway. You want to outscore people to win games. So I think you need
to get some of that money back.
They restructured him and CD's deal. They didn't get money back.
They did.
They just converted it over to signing bonus so that it doesn't hit against the cap. So they freed up some more cap space. They freed up a lot of cap space, and they didn't use any of it. So once again, just being confused about the Cowboys and what they do. But that's the usual at this point, and being confused about what the Cowboys are doing. Because they freed up all that cap space, and then they went and signed Javonte Williams. Like, that's it? That's all that y'all was going to sign? What'd you free up all that cap space for?
That make no sense.
So, yeah, I think that they can use those. What do you think about all those veteran receivers still being left out there in free agency? And I feel like all them dudes can help a team right now.
Yeah, definitely with Keenan Allen, man. Like, he's very consistent. So, seeing him still on the market is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Just because he's very consistent. Diggs.
Now, Diggs, I kind of get a little bit. He's a good receiver still. He definitely can help somebody, but he's coming off an ACL injury, so you don't really know when he's going to be healthy. Then he had that video that went viral with him dancing that sexy red, so it was like, I get it. Teams don't want to take a chance on that like that.
He got a lot going on, man. He got a lot going on with him. He just got to chill out. He got way too much going on with him. He needs to get back focused.
You got Offset want to beat him up. Like,
Offset want to drop him. It's too much, man. You got too much going on outside.
Which isn't going to work, by the way. I ain't trying to get off topic, but can we stop with the athletes and the rappers beefing? Hey, rappers, you can't do 20 push-ups, bro. You're not going to beat any athlete in a fight. Like, let's just stop it. Y'all smoke all day. Y'all drink all day.
Y'all smoke backwoods.
Yeah, like, bro, you have no chance of winning in the fight, bro. Let's stop it, man.
Yeah, even if the athletes smoke, they not smoking backwoods, bro.
And they not smoking as much as y'all smoke. And even if they are, they working out 3-4 times a day.
They working out. Y'all dudes, some of y'all smoke cigarettes and blacks because y'all on paper, so y'all can't even smoke weed. So it's not gonna work. It's not gonna end well for you.
I don't get why they keep they Offset gonna be looking for Diggs to do what?
To do what?
Come on, man. Let's stop
put a security on them.
That's it.
You might want to just put your security guard. Put your security on them.
You're not finna Swiss cheese an
And they,
NFL player, bro. So let's just stop that.
nah,
You're
you're
gonna
not,
get capital murder.
because
You're
you're
gonna go
not
to jail for life. So,
capital,
so,
capital.
so you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna beat him up in a fight. So can we stop with this rapper and athlete beef? I keep seeing multiple people getting caught up. This rapper don't like this athlete. He got it. Bro, you're never gonna win that fight, bro. These are the
I know these
1%
dudes.
of athletes in the world. This is the 1%.
I know these dudes. I know these dudes was tripping whenever you remember when T.I. fought Floyd.
Yeah,
He
they
didn't
talking
fight
about, man.
Floyd.
They
He
talking
just
about, man.
tried
They
to
was
swing
getting
at
into
Floyd.
it. They was getting into, man. Come
Nah,
on, bro. Come on, man.
Floyd didn't throw nothing for real.
Bro, if
Come on,
Floyd
man. You
threw
talking about Floyd
anything, you
Mayweather
going
and
to
T.I.
sleep. You going to sleep immediately, bro. He threw one thing, and then people was like, when Floyd and 50 was getting into it, they like, man, 50 got him in that weight and stuff. Hey, man, come on. Like, you can't fight. Let's just get this all out there. I don't know plenty of dudes that can fight, but if you talking about you fighting versus a professional fighter, you can't fight, bro.
Yeah.
So let's stop that.
And 50 different because 50 actually works out and he actually was Golden Gloves.
Yeah, 50 is
So
different. He's a whole
he's in his,
but we're talking
he's
about
in his
GOAT.
own
We're talking
realm
about
compared.
Floyd. So
Yeah.
let's
He's talking about Floyd though. Yeah, it's
you
Floyd
have to
Mayweather
land a punch to
in
win
his
a fight.
prime.
And that
Come
was
on now.
prime Floyd. That's Floyd when he like 34, 35.
That's prime.
That's like,
Yeah,
man,
he's
come
prime.
on, man, stop it, bro. Let's
Prime.
stop the nonsense.
Canelo couldn't even touch him.
No, and Canelo's one of the greatest fighters. So let's come on, bro. Let's stop it. People, man, T.I. was trying to look at Floyd. That's all he's gonna be able to
And
do.
none of you other rappers are 50.
No, not come on, exactly.
Y'all not even close.
Not even close, bro. So let's stop with the athlete and rapper beef, man. It's never gonna work for you. I mean, like never. I'm talking about 100 times out of 100. You're not gonna beat up a professional athlete. These are the 1% of athletes on Earth. These are the strongest and fastest humans on the planet Earth. You're not just gonna go up to a random NFL player and say you're gonna beat him. That's not gonna work out for you, bro.
Y'all not going up to a random college. Y'all not even going up to a college athlete.
You're not gonna beat up a Power 5 college teenager. So
No,
let's
that
stop
19-year-old
it.
gonna put. That 19-year-old gonna put. I'm talking about all fists and feet on you.
And I've
It's not
seen it
gonna
happen
work,
in
bro. It's
person
not-
too many times, bro. Everybody,
Yeah,
all
I've
y'all
seen it.
listening here that been in college, man. Y'all know the football team run around a group of 30s. It'd be 30 of them. And I don't see
We
people get
did.
beat to a pulp. I don't see people get beat to a pulp by football players and be like, man, that dude can't fight. It don't matter. He's athletic and he's in shape. Chances are if he can get tackled by a safety and get hit in the chin, he can take your punch, bro. I'm just going off the
I ain't
chances.
gonna say the fraternity, but there's a frat on PV campus that we handled.
Man, come on,
We
bro.
handled them boys.
I seen
freshman
the
year.
Qs. I seen the Qs, the Alphas get hands and feet put on them by some of the football players at UNT. And that's a small D1 school. So what do you think you finna do with an NFL player? Like, come on, bro. Man, we shouldn't even have to talk about this, y'all. What are y'all thinking
Nah.
about? So Offset, stay away from Diggs, bro. Cardi, she gone. Stay away from Diggs, man. That's over with. What Future say, she belongs to the streets. It's over with. Leave that beef alone, bro. Hopefully we see Diggs get back on the team, man. Hopefully we see some of these other receivers get back on the team, y'all. But we out of time here, man. I ain't want to end the show talking about the athletes beating up on these rappers. But it's funny. Y'all know it's the truth. Y'all know that's what would happen if these athletes and these rappers start getting into it. So let's stop the nonsense, guys. Because that's all this is, nonsense. Show me a video of the rapper doing 20 push-ups, and then maybe I'll even start to think about changing my opinion. Some of y'all can't do 20 push-ups. So let's stop this. The athlete's not losing to no rapper in a fight or anything physical. Like come
Not
on,
at
man.
all.
I just seen Cam Newton talking about that on his show. Like, bro, you're never going to win that. People was like, man, y'all see Cam Newton was handling it. He wouldn't have did such and such. What are you talking about? Y'all seen when them dudes tried to get into it with Cam Newton. He manhandled 3 grown men with just fist grabs. He didn't throw a punch.
That's
He didn't
it.
throw a kick. All he
didn't
did
throw a
was
punch.
grab y'all and started manhandling them like when you got to get your son and he going crazy and you got to take him to the room. That's what he did with y'all. And y'all are adult males. Y'all got children, and y'all children had to see y'all get drug around by your collars because you thought you was tough enough to go beat up Cam. Y'all jumped a man. He 3v1 y'all and beat y'all up
His
without
hat
throwing a
stayed
punch.
up.
And the hat didn't
His
move.
hat didn't even budge.
The hat didn't move. Whatever hat tape that Cam Newton and T.I. have, it must be an Atlanta thing. I've never seen T.I.'s hat fall off, and I've never seen Cam Newton's hat fall off. I don't know what they do in Atlanta that makes it like that. But he manhandled 3 grown men falling down a hill 3 adult
It's
males
insane.
with just hands. He didn't do anything but grab y'all. All he did
He
was
didn't
grab
throw a
it
punch,
and
man.
wrinkle y'all collars up, and he still manhandled y'all. Y'all was trying to throw punches, and people were shocked and was like, man, I didn't know Cam Newton was like that. Bro,
Man, that dude, come on now.
he's
We
6'6",
seen him
250,
truck
Hall of Famer.
D ends in the league. Yeah, like,
Linebackers, DNs. I mean, once you got past the second level, they didn't have a chance. It wasn't no safety coming
no.
down the hole to pop Cam Newton. It wasn't too many linebackers
The only
doing that.
only one that could that I seen do was Cam Chancellor.
And we talking
Him
about a
and Earl
man-child.
Thomas.
That's Cam Chancellor.
Yeah,
Like,
Cam.
of course he's gonna do that.
Earl Thomas ain't got no mind.
No, Earl Thomas split
He just ain't got no
Gronkowski's
mind.
chest open. That man had to go get
Yeah.
surgery. He split this man's chest plate. And Gronk, one of the biggest tight
Mind
ends
you, Earl
in
Thomas
history.
is only Earl Thomas like 5'9". I'm not even exaggerating. He's like 5'9", 5'10".
Literally, bro. Just a missile.
200-something pound missile.
Just a missile coming downhill. So
Yeah.
I don't know why y'all was shocked about Cam Newton doing that to people or any professional athlete. That should have just gave y'all a scope and, man, maybe I shouldn't try to knock out this dude that was taking hits from 260-pound grown men for a decade. Maybe I can't knock him out. Maybe you should just think before you swing. That's my lesson for today, folks. Think about it before you swing on somebody, especially if that somebody is a professional athlete, man. But we out of time today here on the show. Want to thank y'all for tuning in with us. We're going to be back here tomorrow, still talking about this March Madness bracket, still talking about this NFL offseason and the NFL draft coming up. So we got plenty more to talk about this week. Wednesday, we'll be out. Still got more MCC games going on, but we'll be back tomorrow. And also, we'll be back on Thursday. I want to thank PJ for jumping on here with me here today. We will see you guys next time right here on Centex Primetime. Everybody have a great evening.